What's going on, guys? It's Coach Noob back in the building with another one. As usual, it's going to be jam packed full of jewels. Anytime is always appreciated because you can be doing anything but you hear me checking out these reviews. This one is another wild one, man. It's about an 83-year-old man charged with murder after shooting his wife in the front yard. Let's get to it.
Bakersfield police responded to a case of domestic violence in this Southwest neighborhood Thursday morning. I'm Priscilla Lara, your neighborhood reporter. When they arrived, they found an 85-year-old woman lying dead in her front yard, and now her 83-year-old husband is facing criminal charges.
I came out of my bedroom door and came around to the gate and saw my neighbor Emma lying on the ground.
Hey, mental health, physical health, spiritual health, decision making, man.
And I later discovered that she had been shot.
Herb Smith says he moved into the neighborhood on Tulane Park Place a little more than 2 years ago and says he and his family had gotten close to their 85-year-old neighbor, Emma Wildrick.
Very pleasant woman.
Yo, 2 years, man, that's, it's a while to be standing next to somebody. So, yeah, you get to know them, on the outside looking in. You never know who anybody is until you live with them. That's what they say anyway. But like I've been saying, outside appearances, outside looking in, she was a sweet lady, and they, appear to be, a cool couple, man. So domestic violence between an 83-year-old and an 85-year-old, man, that's crazy because it like you rarely hear about older couples getting into stuff like this. It does happen. At the same time, it rarely happens though. Because at 83 and 85, they didn't say how long they've been together, but hey, you pretty much know who the person is that you're with after you've been together for so long, and you know what makes them tick, the do's and don'ts, what makes them upset and stuff like that. And at that age, you pretty much done everything together, and you're just living out the rest of your life with somebody, man. Somebody to take care of you, vice versa, and it's just till death do you part, pretty much at that point, bro. So for him to be doing something like this, domestic violence, it was, that's mental health, man. Especially on the front yard or on the lawn, and that's a messed up way to start your day too. If you're a neighbor, man, getting up and seeing somebody on the front line laid out like that, man. So it's already traumatizing to the neighbors and the family and stuff like that, bro. So that's why it's so important to think about what you're doing, man. The decisions that you're making and how they can affect you and everyone around you.
5'3", 5'4", very, very nice woman, very giving, very loving woman.
Her height really doesn't matter at this point, but you just, I guess, fillers for the camera or whatever.
Thursday morning, he says he was lying in bed when he heard a gate open and later received a text from one of his other neighbors asking if he had heard the gunshots. Smith showed 23 ABC surveillance footage but asked us not to air it. In the video, 85-year-old Emma Wildrick is seen coming out to her front yard while she's on the phone. According to Smith, she was talking with her son. Then her husband, 83-year-old Michael Wildrick, is seen approaching the woman with the gun. He then shoots her multiple times, including while she's on the ground. According to Smith, the husband has dementia and had previously threatened his wife with the gun.
We knew there was.
All right, there it is. You know what I'm saying? Dementia. And already threatening his wife with a gun and having dementia, bro. That's a recipe for disaster. You know what I'm saying? Let's look it up real quick, man. What is dementia? And then, cameras everywhere, too. You know what I'm saying? In this day and age, nothing's like privacy isn't even a thing anymore hardly. Like there's cameras everywhere. Ring cameras, cameras on the house, cell phones, internet, so pretty much, there's no getting away with anything these days, man. And it says a group of thinking and social symptoms that interferes with daily functioning. And some symptoms: mental decline, confusion in the evening hours, inability to speak or understand language, making things up, mental confusion, or inability to recognize common things, behavioral irritability, personality changes, relentless lack of restraint or wandering and getting lost, mood, anxiety, loneliness, mood swings or nervousness, psychological depression, hallucination or paranoia, muscular inability to combine muscle movements or unsteady walking, also common memory loss, falling, jumbled speech, or sleep disorder. So the confusion, but it wasn't the evening hours. It was pretty early. Maybe the personality changes have something to do with that. With a reason why he may have, you know, lost it and did that, or a mood swing, hallucination. It's a lot of stuff that you got to deal with when you have dementia. It seems like, man, and he was already threatening his wife. So dementia and firearms don't go together. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like it was might have been harder for him to make, rational decisions or think logically or rationally, man, when he was dealing with something like that. And, you know, only him and the family really knows, what was going on, what led up to that. But, maybe his dementia did have a lot to do with that. And, it's just sad that, she had to go out like that on the phone with her son. So that's a messed up way to, what I'm saying, be on the phone with your mom and it goes out. That's another thing, traumatizing the kids like that. You know what I'm saying, man? Just not being able to think clearly though. So, man, that's crazy.
Issues going on in the house, and he seemed to have many firearms, and I think they had taken the firearms from him. That was my understanding, but evidently not.
In a statement to 23 ABC, Bakersfield police say, quote, in previous instances, BPD officers seized registered firearms which were present at the suspect's home. They go on to say family members accounted for the other firearms that were known. The additional firearm used yesterday but was not previously known to be in his possession by family or BPD. Police say they responded to the incident as a domestic violence report. Domestic violence will hit any demographic and
all right, so maybe he was a gun collector, and then he started getting dementia, or he got dementia, and then his brain function started declining. He started tripping, and he went on a deep end and did what he did, which is still no excuse. You know what I'm saying? Because when you see somebody going through something like that, you should get them some help right away, man. Because mental health is very serious, and it's something that should be on the forefront, especially if you're in a marriage or relationship with somebody, man. Their mental health, because clearly, your life depends on it, their life depends on it, and a healthy relationship depends on that, man.
age, but for this 50-year relationship to end in such severity is uncommon.
Yeah. So being together for 50 years, man, it's seeming like it's leaning more towards the dementia, because they address this issue as a domestic violence, and at the same time, they're not saying that there was a history of domestic violence going on between them. So, you know, maybe it was a dementia, bro. And again, it's really no excuse, man. It just goes to show how important mental health is, man, and the severity of it, and the severity of it being addressed, bro, as quickly as possible. And firearms and having mental illness, bro. Nah, that doesn't go together, man.
More encourages anyone suffering from domestic violence to call 911 or call their 24-hour confidential hotline shown on screen. Police say the husband, Wildrick, will be booked on murder charges once he's medically cleared. In Southwest Bakersfield, I'm Priscilla Lara, your neighborhood reporter.
So, what if he doesn't get medically cleared though? Then does he still get charged? Which or does he go into like a mental institution or something like that, man? This one it's a touchy one, bro, because it's the dementia involved in it. Like a 50-year relationship, how long did he have dementia? Towards the later years of their relationship, obviously, and then you know, like it's just a lot of factors, involved in this one, bro, and it's just another lesson, like mental health, man, keeping it, getting it addressed, and making sure that you get the help that you need, man, or your partner gets the help that they need, man. So things like this don't happen. You know what I'm saying? And anyways, this Coach Noob. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you're digging this kind of content. And your time is always appreciated because you could be doing anything but you hear me checking out these reviews. Until next time, I'm out.